Hey guys, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Ilya, yourself?
Yeah, very good, thanks.
Very good.
Um, well, okay, so what's going on? Because I announced this session as a topic 4 initially, and my plan was to actually do that kind of like scene with the wagon wheel, maybe a little bit of fence, and show you how to symmetry works, how to model something of that nature which is symmetrical. So what happens today, I actually realized that just how much time we have left. So including today, we have 1926, and I put its 2nd and 9th, but then the 2nd is actually public holiday. So that's Good Friday, I think, or Easter, sorry, it's off. Yeah, so we don't have that one. So basically, we have 1, 2, 3 sessions left. And I'm just thinking what's the best way to use it, like most interesting way and most useful for you guys to model the train. And I put this topic together, which is thanks to Paul, because Paul had this brilliant idea to model a World War II track, and he found the reference images. And just asked me, some bits and pieces about the modeling process. And I thought it's like a brilliant project. Why? Because well, it's a bit like the small track, but you can see it's like definitely a step up in terms of the complexity of the shapes. So it's a little bit more, rounded shapes. Rounded shapes is always a little bit more difficult to put together compared to boxy shapes. Um, there is potential here because we actually I'm going to work a little bit more with the reference images to model some details. There is some more work here on the wheels and little details, and I can demonstrate all techniques which I wanted to demonstrate here anyway. So just on but on Jimmy. And I think it's just a little bit more interesting to work on a project like that because the final result is rewarding. Yeah, so just interesting and historical track and a little bit more involved compared just to the wagon wheel. And I think we have enough time to do it in 3 sessions. Although just fingers crossed. That's actually that particular one. It's attempt number 3. So and from my part, yeah. So I just tried to do Kevin 3 times, and you usually do because if you start something, then you start and then you thinking, oh well, there is a better way to do it, and then there is a better way to do it again. So that will be a number 4 in the recent 3 days. I'm going to do it. I hope it will be a little bit more streamlined and with the less amount of errors on my side. Okay, guys, so that's the plan. So what I want you to do is grab the folder here. So that's the Maya project, finished track and reference images. And what we're going to do with that. Okay, so I just grab that folder here. Oops. So I hope you're fine with that, guys. It's like a rhetorical questions. Question I'm going to do it anyway, but I hope that you will enjoy it. Okay, and where my stuff is on data. Okay, and I will unzip it here. Images uploading into my we'll have I will show how to do it. Shouldn't be a problem. Okay, so yeah, no problem. Okay, so let's have a look what we have in here. Yes, yeah, just Okay, so cool. So first, let's just talk a little bit about the reference images and resource gathering, because I think that will be part of your the theory questions anyhow. I just want to open up a bridge and have a look inside and just explain a little bit of the process, how you start on a project. Okay, so here there's the black background and the white outline. That's the front view and top view and left view, which I created from the reference images. And actually, Paul found these guys. And then I went and, here they just like on a white background. And then I looked and just studied a little bit about this truck, and it's interesting, and you can see that there is a different modifications here. So it's one with the fenders like that, and one with a little bit more donut-shaped fenders here. The radiator is a little bit pokey here and flat, and actually different shape on that one. That is completely flat. So I think it's a slightly different models of this truck. Some of them have two axles at the rear, some of them have one axle. So the point is that when you want to model something, you need to do extensive research, and the more research and more images you find, the better. Because especially with the detailed object like this, it's almost impossible to find a one single perfect reference image, which will give you all understanding of all aspects of what you're going to model. So do extensive research. So that's the point, regardless what you're doing. Yeah, as I said, I just grab on say that guy here, PNG, which is have like side views, and I think Paul did the same thing. And I did it inverted in Photoshop. I don't know why it's actually going to work a little bit better or not. Created these three images here, and then it's probably time to actually jump into Maya and have a look at them and how to place them. Okay, so just open up Maya. This Jimmy track, so I actually, for some reason, thought it's Ford, but it's General Motors, so hence Jimmy. And that's a World War, so go to American track, which was sort of, and then in Korean War it was used. So it's quite significant piece of recent history. It's quite interesting to model. Okay, so what we're going to do here, I'll just set back. I'll just wait a little bit before everything is loaded up. It usually takes a little bit of time to load. Just make sure that I'm recording. Yeah, I'm recording here, so it's good. Okay, so it's okay, poly modeling. Just close the window, which I don't really need. Well, once again, guys, so the workspace, because Paul asked me, about preferences. So it's basically I'm working with the default preferences, just the Maya out of box, pretty much, and I'm working in the workspace. I'm modeling standards, yeah. So just to get exactly the same picture, you go workspace modeling standards here. So it's here. There is other kind of stuff for the area of specialization. You can create your own, yeah, or you can import workspace, but the standard works fine for what we're doing. Okay, so I'm going file, and I'm going to set project, because the project is already pre-cooked, and I like to actually pre-cook projects before I start modeling in Maya, and that's pretty much like a root folder and reference images and research. Okay, so it's Jimmy track, and just select the folder and click set. And file open scene. There is one scene here, but it's actually a little bit of lie, because it was scene number 3, as I said. Okay, so let's open that. Don't save that empty one. Okay. So that's the finished track for the references, and it seems like I finished, but the size is not quite equal because I didn't really have much time applying all these materials, and just. But it's kind of fine for what it is. I just wanted to create one render view from one side. I hope that will improve a little bit on this because that will be a second time around. So if you click on the track, you can see that's actually a single mesh, finished Jimmy, all history and everything is deleted. And also I have a layer which is called render. Okay, so that's our light and ground. So we don't really need that one. So I'll just close that. And we have the layer with the references. Okay, and that was the Caitlin question. How to get images into Maya. Is it correct? How to create that? Well, okay, so all the images, so you can't really like import image by itself. But what you can do, you can go into the create menu and you create free image plane. So you need to create some kind of geometry. Okay, so that's like a free image plane here. And what you have for the free image plane, you need to open up its attributes. So that's the attribute editor. Just want to park it here. Oh, and the property which is assigned image to the free image plane is the image name. Yeah, you click on that, and you got, let's say, front, for example, open, and then you can scale that. Yeah, so that's how to get image into Maya. Well, just to save a little bit of time, because sorry, yeah, that's fine. I'm just about to sneeze. Yeah, but it went away, so it's good. Just to save us a little bit of time, I just pre-cook them. Yeah, because that will be some kind of like a basic Photoshop work. And also, I tried to align them. So what I will do, just get this guy, Jimmy, finished, and I will create a new layer, and I'll call it finished. Okay, and I will just hide it here. So there is a little bit of work went into actually align these images together. And basically the way I align them is just from orthographic view, and I will select the images to make sure that they kind of aligned. So it's not a very difficult job, but it takes a little bit of time, and I don't want to actually do it. So yeah, so I don't really want to do it because it just playing a little bit with the scale tool and make sure that all aligned. So the thing with the reference images, especially like this one, they never ever align 100%. So you'll say top view and side view and all of these guys. And as we go along and we'll start to model it, you will see that, well, they look like the same track, but they actually not aligned. It just, um, there is never ever straight transition from 2D projection into the 3D. You always, it doesn't match. It just, I don't know why, but it just doesn't really work seamlessly. So the idea is that although I have this guides here or templates, I'm not 100% be concerned about following them to the pixel, yeah, just completely and utterly follow the slides. I will use them as a guideline, just but general guideline. But I will also use this these guys here, references here, just to help me a little bit to see how the things are coming together. And probably the one which I kind of know my model based around is that one. And that's where I kind of look how this fender, if I call it correctly, I call them wings, yeah, but I probably call fenders, and radiator connected, and how the plane on the cabin coming together. and I actually look at the wheel design, so it's quite an important reference image for me. So what I will do, I will actually put it in here as well, because, well, usually you don't really need it in my, you can put it on the second screen, but because you can only see one screen, so I'll just put it here somewhere. So I'll just go create pre-image plane, move it around, and that's my attribute. Okay, go references. So the good thing about references is that there is actually preview window here. So even if you didn't really name them, I try to name them, but I just grab them from internet without changing names. So you can just preview them, go open. And that particular guy, I don't really need to align it anyhow. I'll just push it back around here. And what I will do, I will go and include it into the reference. So just right click, sorry, reference, right click, and go add selected objects here. So that will just put it alongside with the other guys. Okay, guys, so now let's start. So by a big margin, the most difficult part of this track is to actually cabin. And we'll probably start with the cabin, and then we'll do this or the fender, yeah, call them. I'm not sure about the right terminology. Okay, so what about the cabin? The cabin is actually like a boxy shape, but in the same time, it has a rounded bits and pieces. And I will need to show you a modeling technique to deal with the shapes like that. So we'll start with the cube. And we'll start just with the cube. Doesn't really matter width, height, and depth. We'll scale it, but we'll just give it 2 divisions, X, Y, Z. Yeah, go and create. Okay, so we'll start to shape this cube a little bit. So we'll go into the right view, and I will just push it this way here. Scale it a little bit. So now with the cube, and that's just something that we haven't done before, we haven't used buttons 1 and 3 on the keyboard, yeah? So if you click 3 on the keyboard, you see that the cube become a little bit like sort of like a balloon shape, yeah? So that's a smooth view. It's number 3. So, and then to get into the hard edge view, it's 1, yeah? So it's 3 and it's 1. So what number 3 does, it actually preview the shape. So it's like just go 1, yeah? And there is option here in if you have the poly modeling shelf open to smooth, yeah. So and then you smooth. What it does is actually adds the geometry to your mesh, yeah. And the way it adds geometry to the mesh, it doesn't, you know, the interesting thing what happens to the corner. So they get kind of rounded. Go Control Z. So why they get rounded? Because it insert the extra edges, but it's kind of approximated where it doesn't put it here. It approximate between these 3 points. So the first one is close to that one, and then that one is kind of going here and then here. So it kind of rounds everything up. And the reason for that, it's kind of create this options to smooth, you know, because it's called smooth tool, yeah, to smooth hard edges in a situation like that. And there is different techniques where you would say, for example, just get, and I will insert a little bit of reinforcement here and here, and hit free again, and you can see that this edge is actually holding shape, yeah. Why? Because I put this reinforcements. And I'm still working on this low resolution shape, but I can go control and I can reinforce it here. And you see, I kind of can sculpt this shape by adding this reinforcement geometry. and I control the curvature of the smoothed object. Go into the one, and that's what I did. Yeah. So that's in essence how the guys. It's not like, well, it's pretty much you need to know about that from the get-go. But that's the way the guys actually create a high-resolution models. They create them from the low-res, then they reinforce the certain edges that they want to keep, and then they smooth it, and then they smooth it again. So it's probably like the full workflow for the high-resolution model is outside the scope of introduction to the modeling, because it's not in introduction skills. It's a little bit more towards intermediate and going into the advanced skills. But the basics of that you need to know, and you can talk about them as a technique. Yeah, just the smoothing, and it's called hedging. Yeah, so we create hedges. So that's a technique. So I'll just go Control Z a couple of times, just to remove this stuff here. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going into this right view, and I'm going to set. I want to see this the blueprint behind this cube. So I'm calling this X-ray button to see through. Yeah, and I'm going into this free, so it's a smooth mode. Yeah, and I try. Let's say W, just go like that. Just object, and I'm just try to kind of match it a little bit, just with the outline. Okay, I think I need to put a little bit of yeah, so I have reinforcement here. What I will do is I will select these faces at the bottom. Just select the faces, and I'm going to delete them. And you can see that as soon as I deleted the faces, the bottom line of this get completely flat. And that's the way everything's smooth. If it's open, it doesn't actually smooth it because there is nothing to approximate against. So that's the last edge. Okay, so that's done, and just get some kind of vertices here. I'll just move them around a little bit. Okay, and then going to the front view. Okay, so that's the front view. So what I want to do with the front view is to make it a little bit wider. And I will get this, and just probably I need to create like one edge here just to get the curvature right. The bottom straight, I deleted the bottom faces. So I just selected the bottom faces with just drag around and delete them. And what I will do, just once again, I will select now, go faces, and I will select all these faces on the side, and I will delete them as well. Okay, but pretty much I did the same thing for the bottom faces. Okay, so now I'll grab these vertices and just kind of smooch them a little bit here, and I will grab these guys, just push them out a little bit, tiny little bit, because it almost like it's kind of bulges towards the center, or tiny little bit. Okay, so going into perspective view, so that's how it looks like. But if I hit 1, it actually pretty much the same cube, yeah? So just kind of like this, so that's fine. So I'll hit 3 again. And what I want to do is I'll grab these faces and this face, these two guys, and I want to extrude them. So it's Control E. And just push them forward. Okay, so and I will go into the right view and see how that works out. Okay, so probably just go into the one just for a second, and I will grab all these vertices here, W, and just push them up a little bit. Yeah, because that's where I want this to be, around this line here. Object mode, Control S, save just in case. Oh, I need to save it as file. Save scene as, and I will give it 0 to, yeah. Continue, okay, and go, let's say, back into the free mode, yeah. So what happens here is that kind of squashes here. So what I need to do is put some kind of reinforcement. So it's my multi-cut tool and Control and cut here, just to kind of keep this shape aligned with these guys. Probably need to put another one around here. Yeah, so that's a better curvature. I probably need to put some reinforcement around here just to get this curve right. And if I select edges, I can double click and I can kind of move them around to actually adjust the position of, oops, double click. Just adjust the position of that. Yeah, so that's cool. I probably don't really need that one. So double click, Control delete. No, I need that one. So sorry, so I'm just going to keep it. Okay, so just grab, let's say, all these vertices, just move them back a little bit like that. Okay, cool, that's fine. And let's get all of these guys, just move them here. Okay, so that's how it looks like currently. What I need to do now is to work from the top view to get this a wedge shape to the bonnet. Just going into the top view. And well, basically the problem here a little bit because I sort of put this reinforcement here and here. So if I start to actually make it into the bonnet shape, just like that, it will give me a very sort of uneven geometry, because it will be kind of, I won't get a straight line. To get a straight line, I just need from that point to that point. Okay, so what I can do now is I can either delete them again and just shape it into these kind of shapes first, and then put them back, or I can start use deformers. Okay, so just go back into perspective view. And what I'm going to do currently for this guy, oh, by the way, you know what I'm going to do? And that was the Zach question, yeah? So I'm going to delete now these faces as well, Zach. So it's pretty much like I did for the bottom of the cabin. So I'm just going into the face. Just select all of these guys here and delete them. Okay, so now it's all kind of continuous shape, so that's good. And what I'm going to do now, I'm still contemplating whether I'm in perspective. I should shape it or not. You know what? I will just shape them first. Yeah, so I'll just grab these guys, and Control delete them, and Control delete them. So this is like a couple of steps back. Go into the top view. And I will grab these vertices here and I will move them. Yeah, I need to delete this face as well. Sorry, guys. Okay, going into the top view. I'll pick up these guys and just move them across like that. Okay, And then go back into the right view, and I will put these reinforcements back again here, here, and about here. Okay, so a little bit of push vertices, go back into perspective view. Yeah, so that's cool. So it seems like it's a straight line here, so that's absolutely fine. So now what I want to do at this stage is to smooth it. So I need a little bit more geometry at this stage. Okay, so save. With the object, just delete history, so all of these tweets and etc. delete. Well, freeze transformation as well, so it's clear. And click on the smooth button. Oops, sorry, smooth button. And then hit 1 to actually look at the hard edge view. Yeah, so that's fine. That looks fine, so that's good. Now, if I go into the right view, what I will do is I will just grab all these vertices here. Just get the scale tool, hold the D key, so I will change the pivot point of scale, move it around here, just scale it a little bit. Okay, these guys traveling really well. So now what I will do is, oh, fatal error. Jesus Christ, it's crashed on me. Okay. Okay, so just go continue. I'm not going to send report. Okay, so that happens every now and then, so not a big deal. So look how to deal when you crashed. What to do when you crash. Okay, so go Maya back. So if you open up Maya after it's actually crashed, it will give you options. So we'll just wait a little bit for that to open. Okay, so here, the options, I can open up my 02, but that will open it from the last saving stage, or I can open some kind of like a template. So it's my basically did autosave in the moment that it was crashing. So I want to open that one because I don't really want to repeat steps. I can't remember when I saved it last time. Okay, so just open that, and I now can close this interface. And it sees exactly the same way than it was before crash. Now I go File, Save Scene As, and I will give it 03 now. So just go Jimmy 03. So I'll version it up. Continue. Okay, so hopefully it should be okay. That makes it way better than I was doing, and I was from the last. Yeah, so just yeah, it kind of, you know, a good technique. Okay, so now what I need to do is to actually add a couple of lines. So I want to add that line here. I also want to add that line here on the angle, yeah? And I probably want to kind of add the lines just to kind of the outline the way the door is actually shaping up, yeah? So how I going to go about this? So just go back into the poly modeling. So if I go with the multi-cut tool and I hold Control button and I will insert that, so that will kind of follow the outline of the edges that I currently have. But I want a straight line. So to do a straight line, I will with multi-cut, and it only works from the side view, so it won't work from perspective view. So I cut kind of like, you know, just eyeball the level where I want to be. Before I do that, I need to just do a little bit of work with these vertices because I want it to be a little bit up. So just do like a little vertex pushing before I do that bit. So just go vertices, pick up these two guys and just move them a little bit up, just kind of like that. Just push that a little bit this way. Just push that a little bit this way. These two guys a little bit this way. That one just a little bit this way. Yep, so that's cool. And probably that one just a little bit up. Okay, so now I'm ready to cut. So I'll just go and cut just a little bit under this vertex here and shift hold on the other side. So that will give me complete and utter straight line, which is basically cut like a knife through this mesh, just on completely straight line. So now what I want to do is to actually get the line which is coming this way, and I just want to I don't want actually from that vertex. I want a little bit here, just a little bit of that vertex, and I don't want to cut it here, so I just want a little bit here, just kind of cut, just move it around. So you can cut and move it around like that and hit enter. I realize that my angle is a little bit off, which is fine, so I will adjust it later. Actually, I'll just adjust it and pick up this vertex and just move it around a little bit, like that. It's a little bit like that. Okay, so we have that, we have that. I just want to have a look how it actually looks from the perspective view. Yeah, it looks kind of fine. I probably want these guys to be on the same Z. So I'm going into the right view again, and I will pick up these vertices and just move them this way. Okay, so that's cool. I probably don't really need that line going through. Do I really need it? No, I don't really need it. So I'll just get this edge, double click it and go Control Delete to get rid of this edge. Okay, so that's fine. And then I'm going into the right view again. And what basically I need to cut out something which is going to be useful for me to create a door. Okay, so how is that going to work? Let's see. Probably need to pick up this edge, just move it out just a little bit, slightly like that. Pick up these vertices and push them down a little bit. Pick up the center. Oops, I need to go back to the edge. Pick up that one, move it kind of in the middle here. Probably pick up, just go back to the vertices. Pick up the top guys just to push them up a little bit. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Now I will get the multi-cut tool and I will cut, let's say, from here and to around here. Okay, so once again, I'm not really worried that I don't really hit the outline 100%, so that's fine. And hit enter. So just create a extra cut. I will just cut like in the middle of this plane about here and here, around here, in the middle of this plane here, and around here, and then into the last one here, and hit enter. Okay, so now I will just switch the ghost division so I can see what's going on with my edge flow, and I will just fix these cards here that I'm not 100% happy with, because I kind of want it to be connected around this area, so I just want to be connected this way and this way. Hit enter. Just control Z just from here to here. Hit enter. So that's quad, so it's all quads. Look at perspective view. Yeah, so that just a corner which I'm not 100% happy about, but I'm just thinking what's the best way to cut it here. Do I want to cut it like that? Yeah, so we'll just cut it like that here and say here. And pick up the sage and control delete that one. It's always, with this geometry, you kind of running into a little bit of puzzle like that. Okay, so what if I just go and insert the loop here? And I will connect it this way. Enter, and I will connect it this way and hit enter. And I will delete this edge, control delete. Control delete, so no, they're not chords. Just delete this guy. Control delete. Almost like a puzzle, yeah. So just that corner doesn't want to copyright. I'll just go a couple of steps back. Just want to keep it simple. So even this way, it probably should work fine. And that's one. I have this like odd triangle, which is not ideal, but still kind of can work fine for me. And I will probably leave it because I currently have like a mental block and don't know how to fix that bit. It just seems like it looks a little bit odd. It looks a little bit odd. It's like that one. It's almost like, but I can't delete that bit. I can. Okay, so what I will do, guys, just create, let's say, here, just the last attempt. And I will go vertex and join this guy here. And then I should be able to go into this edge and delete everything from here to here. And that's, I think, a little bit better geometry for me. And I can run from that point down, and that would be a quad then. Okay. And that becomes a quad. Okay, so that's how we're going to crumble this cookie. Okay, so now what I want to do with these guys here is let's go into the right view and make it a X-ray line. So I need another line here at the around because there is like a paneling going on here, and that should be fine. So it should go utterly and completely straight. So it's around here, and we're good to go and start actually work on the door. So for the door, and I will select all these faces. So go face that one. I'll hold tab and just select all of these guys like this, and go extrude. So it's Control E. And I'm going to work with this offset and thickness. So let's look at a little bit at offset. So I'm going like that, offset. But what I want to do is to actually give it a couple of divisions. To be precise, 3 divisions. Okay, so what I'm going to do with these 3 divisions is I'm going to select the face, shift click, select this guy, so they're going all the way around here. And let's create like a door outline. Just thinking, should I actually move these guys? Just before I do that, what I want to do is just go into the right view and pick up these vertices here, these 3 guys, and move them out a little bit like that, just to give it a little bit more like curvature like on the door. And I'm doing it from the side view, so I want to actually change the what it would be the X position of this, kind of like slide them a little bit. By the way, if you're holding the D key on the move tool, see it's like you can align it, so I can actually align it towards this edge and I can slide on the edge. So that's a very, very useful technique. So let's have a look at this view. So that's cool. So I'll just do it a little bit here. Just push that a little bit up. But that's about fine. Back perspective view. Okay. So we go in face, select that one, click on the adjustment face. It will select the whole face loop, and you can extrude it down, but because I actually create 3 of these guys, I'll just push it. Yeah, I'll probably extrude it. So it's Control E, extrude, and just give it, oops, just a little bit of offset and a little bit of negative thickness. So just push it inside a little bit. So why I'm doing this? Because that will create this like a paneling, yeah, and that will be very visible. That we're going to create, and render, and if you do texturing, so that's very good as well. So just a detail which is super important. Okay, so that's fine. So let's go into the right view now and back into the ghost view, and we need to get the window going, yeah. So the window is basically we're going to select these faces here. Okay, so the window we need to push this edge a little bit up. Do I want to create another cut? Let me see. Yeah, I probably want to create another cut, so just hold Control and just cut around here. Because that will be very useful. Then I'm going to create a front window. Okay. Just let's have a look at this one, and then just get a ghost view. So it's a right view. Yeah, so it's about the right place. Hit, hold Tab, select all the faces. Going back into perspective. Okay. So I want to create this neo. So that's a frame for the window, and I probably want to. I want to kind of go offset, and I want to extrude, sorry, Control E, and I want to offset it again just a little bit like that. Okay, and G to repeat the tool, and then give it a little bit of thickness so it goes inside, yeah. And that's about it. And then I'm going into the R, so it's scale tool, and I'm going to flatten these guys because that's the window, yeah. Maybe no, want to no, just like that. I give it a little bit of exaggerated thickness, so that's fine because it will just look a little bit better. It's still like a low resolution. It's still like a toy kind of rather than replica of the real machine. So I'm not doing the modeling like a high resolution modeling. So it's still a low resolution modeling. Okay, so that's fine. So now I want to do the same thing to actually create a front window here. And I'm going to select these, oops, W, hold Tab, select these guys, Control E to extrude, go offset. And this offset, this is like, there is like a two windows at the front, so I need a space in between them. So, and space should be like very thin. So just kind of scale it out a little bit like that. And just push it towards the center because I want to be like a very thin line here. Okay, so that's fine. Just select the guys again and go and extrude them again. And go thickness. And I will give it a little bit of, just a tiny little bit of offset, just kind of like a tiny little bit of offset. Okay, so as soon as you've done that, so what would happen here? No, we actually want this line here, so that's fine. And what I'm going to do is I'll create this inside edges of this frame. Okay, just these guys selected. Okay, so it's 4 edges selected and bevel them. So it's Control B to bevel. And I'm looking at that, so I'm looking at the guys, just probably so I don't really want these guys beveled, so sorry, just go Control Z back, just this and this, yeah. So shift click just to deselect, shift click to deselect. I want to. and Control B to bevel. Okay, so these guys probably just play a little bit with the fraction. Just kind of the roundness is actually matching the door. Yeah, so it's about right. And I will fix these vertices right away, just with the welding tool, weld them towards the corner. Otherwise I would have n gone in the corner, so it's not a very good topology. It's actually a very bad topology. And I will probably pick up these faces here, get R, which is scale tool, and I want to scale them and align it with this edge. So hold D and click align, and that will change the position of the scale tool, just kind of like that, and probably just push it back a little bit. Okay. So that's hold D and click on element that you want align against. So that's very, very useful. And I probably need this edge here and here. Go into the front view. F to focus on that element here. Just get them around here. Yeah, so that's cool. Okay, so the next thing, before I actually mirror the cabin, I need to create that line here, because once again, it's quite important. If we look at, just let's get this reference image a little bit closer. Reference image 1, 2, 3. Yeah, just a little bit closer like that. So it kind of goes all the way, so that's like a groove. So I really want it. I think it's a very important bit. I need to, so that's that line here, and I probably wanted to actually go down that side as well. What it means that I probably need some kind of geometry here. So what I will do is that I will just fatal error. Okay, so I'll do it again. Sorry, guys. It seems like every time I click on this multi-cut tool, it crashes the Maya. But we already learned that it's kind of annoying, but it's not like a very big deal. Okay, so once again, I want to open this particular scene, so not my 03, but my template scene. And I'm going File, Save Scene As. That will be 04 now. Okay, continue. Okay, so what I wanted with this line is to give it a little bit of curvature here, yeah? So that's where the radiator would come into play, around here. So that's radiator, and that's where the curvature. Okay, so what I'm going to do, just go object and go save. And by the way, what I will do, maybe it's crashing because too many steps. So I'll just want to delete history on this one. And I will give it another cut around here. And I would give it, let's say, cut from this point to this point. Hit enter, and I will cut around here. Connect, and I will cut around here. Connect. And what to do with this n-gon? Okay. Well, I will fix it in a second. So what I want to do is basically create like a groove from that point on. And going down. Okay. So I will go and click around here. Go and click around here. And I will click, click, and click. I missed the point here, so just my bad. So what I need to do is weld these vertices. Okay. I need to grab this guy, just move it around here, just to get a little bit nicer geometry. Yep. Okay, and well, all we need to do now is basically connect, let's say that, and that, hit enter. Okay, so that's fine. And what I want to do now is to create a groove, which is going from, let's go into the face mode. Probably all the way from, let's say, this face to this face. Hold tab, these two guys, and these two guys here. Okay, and Control E to extrude that. And what I will do is that I'll just get a little bit of offset, just kind of inside. So it's kind of become a little bit thinner line. Yeah, so that's fine. And then go into the right view and just right view. And fix couple of vertices here because that's the way geometry works here is not up to my liking here. Just a little bit this way. I can actually delete this edge because that's a chord here. Big. Okay, so just a little bit this way. Okay. So just get maybe a little bit like that. Okay. Faces. Oops, sorry. Let's go perspective view. And we'll select the faces from that one. Shift click here, so all these rings here. Shift click this one. Shift click that one. Oops. And that one. So all these guys. So nothing else is selected. And what we'll do with these is just to kind of extrude them. Control E and just push them inside. So it's probably sorry, not enough set. Let's say a little bit of negative thickness, just a little bit. And I'm holding control to get a little bit more control on the values. So just I push it too hard. So just a little bit this way. Okay, so that's fine. And what I will do now is create a groove around here. I can actually do it after I mirror the cabin. Okay, so it's object mode. There is history here, so we'll go into delete history. There is no transformation, but you can hit this button anyhow. And what we need to do is just go into the front view. Make sure that, well, we did some manipulation around the window. So what happened is that this pixels, vertices get off the grid. So we need to fix that. So I'll just hide the reference and I'll show the grid. So all these guys here should be snapped to the grid. So what I will do is just grab these vertices here and hold the X button to snap to the grid. Okay, so that's the grid here. So let me see what's going on. Because, yeah, so that's cool. That's cool. I'll go in and check it from the top view as well. Okay, so it's snapped to the grid, but not exactly the one which I actually wanted. So I want this one on the grid. Yeah, and I want these guys on the grid. So I'll just kind of manually push them around, these guys. And these guys, I can hold the R, just scale them down because they all have to be on the same line. W, hold X and snap it to the grid. Okay. So that's a nice straight line here. So that's a nice and straight line here. Probably what I want to do just before I approximate, I'll show you just one more tool. Say like edge, and I double click and it's edge loop. And what I want this edge loop to kind of run in between this guy and that guy, just to get a little bit more even edge flow. And there is two, if you hold the shift key and right click, so that brings up the hot menu. And one of the options or command, which is called edge flow, edit edge flow. And what it does, well, it approximates, but it's actually messing up here. So, bad example. Have to leave it. Oh, I can actually do it in passes, but well, I'll leave it. Yeah, so it didn't really work the way I wanted to work. Yeah, but it's all good. Okay. So object mode. Yeah, just once again delete history. Double click on the mirror to check mirror options. So what I want to do is I want to cut geometry. So I want to actually create one mesh here, world X negative. Okay, go mirror. The new mirror, you need to check that the threshold here, because we have merge border, and it's kind of merging here because the threshold is very high. Just to adjust the threshold so you won't actually merge vertices that you don't want to merge. Okay, so that's fine. And the thing that I want to do on these cabin is to basically go edge and select as all edges and go into the mesh display, sorry guys, and go soften edge. And that, well, because it's kind of like a soft sort of situation that will soften, especially these guys. Probably the one which I didn't really want to soften is this. Okay, so that flow, and it's probably Control Z because I don't really want to soften all of them, so I want to keep this hard. The one which I want to soften is mainly these guys, so that one, and shift that one. Okay, so these guys I want to soften. Mesh display, soften edge. And these guys here. G to soften edge, and probably what I need in terms of geometry, maybe run another loop around here. Maybe not. Let's keep it like a low poly, yeah, because I don't want to create too many loops. Just want to keep it like a reasonably low poly. Okay, so let's put the references back. Okay, so save, continue. Well, so that's like a blocking of the cabin. So let's just check from the top view. Okay, so you can see it's pretty kind of like close to what we have. Maybe I just need to be a little bit, just look through. Oh, it's actually very close, yeah. And go into the right view. This curvature here that I probably want to adjust. Okay, oops. Okay, perspective. Yeah, so it's nice curvature here. A line here. Yep. Fine, the radiator will start from this line. Yeah, so that's enough. Okay, save that. Okay, guys, so that's the cabin. So what I'm going to do is let's have a break till 3 o'clock, and after the break, we'll get this the fenders done. Any questions, guys?
Yeah, Ilya, did you say 3 o'clock?
Oh no. Half past two. It's 2:30, and I can get this picture of number 3, and that's how the 3 o'clock came about. Thank you for that.
That's all right. You will know it'd be very lonely for 3/4 of an hour.
Oh, yes. So definitely don't really want that. So probably just before the very last thing, so I'll just get this edge going here. And up to that point, so don't really want this last one. And I just want to get this line because I think it's important line. So once again, extrude and just offset. No, thickness. Oh no, because the line. Sorry guys. What I need to do is bevel that. So it's Control B bevel. Yeah, so that's what I need.
Okay, that's good. Great technique, yeah.
Thank you. And oops. Now I can extrude. Okay, so I'm going to offset that inside, holding Control key just a little bit like that. And G to repeat the tool to extrude again. Hold Control key and give it a little bit of negative thickness and a little bit of offset like that. Okay, and so that's fine. And what I can do, just to soften this edge, say from that point to that point, shift and adjust edge flow, edit edge flow. Yeah, so that's kind of worked a little bit better now. It kind of creates this thing which I probably don't really like. So I just wanted a little bit smoother line. So what I will do is just Control Z that, and I will try to do the same thing but on the whole edge loop rather than just selected a bunch of the edges. Shift right click, edit edge flow. Yeah, much better. Okay guys, so now break time. So till, not till 3 o'clock, till 2:30.
Very good. See you at 3:30.